Hello and welcome to 7.4, one of my favorite sections of this chapter of this book, actually. We're going to be working with special right triangles today. Here are the answers to 7.3. Make sure that you are splitting apart these triangles, such as this right here, so that you can see which side lengths you want to use for your proportion. If you're not splitting them apart, it's going to be much more challenging for you. I've taught this section many years, and it is traditionally not easy unless you split apart the triangles. Okay, special right triangles. This is this is a highly tested upon subject, very special. It's going to come up a lot. It's something that you guys need to know. All right, so we're going to be working with, we're going to start with an isosceles right triangle. So an isosceles right triangle is simply a right triangle, and it's isosceles, two sides are the same. Now if this is 90, then of course we know that this is 45 and this is 45. So what we're going to do here is we're going to call this x and we're going to call this x. And what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what this value is right here, the hypotenuse of that. And so we're going to do x squared plus x squared, and we're going to call this c, whatever, equals c squared. So x squared plus x squared is 2x squared equals c squared. And then I'm trying to figure out what the value of this is. So I have c squared right now, so I'm going to get c by itself by square rooting it. And then I'm going to square root the left-hand side. So I have the square root of 2 and the square root of x squared. Well, the square root of x squared is really just x. So we have x root 2 equals c. So that is a very, very important relationship, x root 2. So if I have the side length, let's say this was 5, and this was 5, then the hypotenuse would be 5 root 2. You just take whatever the side length is and multiply it by the square root of 2. Okay, so there's your first relationship right here. Okay, so this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle here. So this would be 8, and this would be 8, and then this would just be 8 root 2. Here you have 3 root 2. Again, so it's an isosceles right triangle, 3 root 2. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that leg, multiply it by root 2. And it might look weird because like we already see the root 2. Well, there's another root 2. And so that's 3 root 4, which is 3 times 2, which is 6. So that would be 6 right there. Now, let's say they give you the hypotenuse. You want to go backwards. So leg times square root 2 equals hypotenuse. So if I have the hypotenuse and I want to figure out the leg equals hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. Okay, so if I take the hypotenuse and divide it by the square root of 2, that's going to give me leg. So I'm just going backwards. So I have 5 root 2 divided by root 2, and that gives me 5. So the leg and the leg, both of those legs are 5 there. Okay, so find the leg of the length of a hypotenuse triangle with, I'm going to start over there. Find the leg length of a 45, 45, 90 triangle with hypotenuse length 6. So 45, 45, 90 isosceles right triangle, 6. Again, to go backwards, I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. Now, you cannot have a square root in the denominator, and so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by root 2. And this is something that we talked about earlier when we worked on some algebra skills in the beginning of the year working with radicals. You never leave a radical in the denominator, and so this is called rationalizing the denominator. So you have 6 root 2 over root 4, which is just 2. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3, so it'd be 3 root 2. Now, so it simplifies. I'm going to rewrite that. There you go. So those are the skills you're going to need for an isosceles right triangle. Now this here, we have a equilateral triangle. All 3 sides are the same. And so this is 2x, and this is 2x, and this is 2x. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out, and I've drawn the altitude, so that's 60, that's 90, and this is 30. So the next type of triangle what we're going to study is called a 30, 60, 90 triangle, a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And to figure out the relationship between these side lengths, I'm going to start with this isosceles triangle. So what I'm going to do is I drew the altitude here, and so that splits that into x and x. Those two triangles that I created are similar. Now, here I have 2x. The hypotenuse of my triangle is 2x. The smaller leg is x, because this is 2x from here to here, so this is x and x. Now I have to figure out, I'm going to call this C, or I'm going to call it B actually, because C kind of assumes it's the hypotenuse. I'm going to apply the Pythagorean theorem again. X squared plus b squared equals, in parentheses, 2x squared. So 2x squared is 2x times 2x, which is 4x squared. So I have x squared plus b squared equals 4x squared. And then I'm going to subtract an x squared from both sides. And that leaves me with b squared equals 3x squared. And again, just like before, I'm going to square root both sides. And so b equals root 3 root x squared, which is x root 3. So this triangle here, b is really x root 3. So what I'm trying to say through all of this here is the following. I'm going to put this on a new page here. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, if this is x, the hypotenuse is double the shorter leg. And the reason why I know it's the shorter leg is because 30 is smaller than 60, so it has to be the shorter leg. And the longer leg is x root 3. So if you take the shorter leg, multiply it by 2, it gives you the hypotenuse. If you take the shorter leg, multiply it by root 3, it gives me the longer leg. This is a very important relationship, something that you guys need to know. So we're going to do some sample problems here using that information. So here I have the shorter leg. It's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. If I double that, it gives me the hypotenuse. If I multiply the shorter leg by root 3, it gives me the longer leg. So these are meant to be really, really quick questions that you can go through easily. The logo on recycling bin represents an equilateral triangle. So I'm going to first draw this equilateral triangle with side lengths of 6. What is the approximate height of that logo there? Okay, so this is going to be 3 and 3. And we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, so if I take 3 and double, it gives me 6. And if I take 3 and multiply it by the square root of 3, it gives me that side right there. All right, find x and y. Write your answer in simplified radical form. Here they give me the longer leg of this 30, 60, 90 triangle. So I'm going to divide that by 2. No, divide that by the square root of 3 to get to the shorter leg. So if I'm going from the longer leg to the shorter leg, I divide by root 3. And then, again, I have to simplify this here. So it's 9 root 3 over root 9, which is 3. So it'd be 3 root 3. So that's going to be x. This is 3 root 3. Now, to get from the shorter leg to the hypotenuse, we're just going to double x. So y is 2 times 3 root 3, which is 6 root 3. So the easiest thing to do is find x. If they give you the hypotenuse, divide by 2 to find x, and then multiply it by root 3 to get to the longer leg. If they give you the longer leg, divide it by root 3 to get to the shorter leg, then double that to get to the hypotenuse. Find the shorter leg first. It's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, one more question. One more question. The body of a dump truck is raised to empty a load of sand. How high is the 14-foot body from the frame when it is tipped upward at the given angle? Okay, so they want to know the height. Okay, and we're going to, they're saying this is 14 here, and they're saying how high is it from the frame. So the frame is right there, this is 14, and the angle is 45. Okay, so we want to know the height here. So this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and we're going to take 14 divided by the square root of 2 to get to the leg. I got to multiply by root 2 over root 2. That's 14 root 2 over 2, which is 7 root 2. And now we're going to change it to a 60-degree angle. I should draw this actually to scale so it makes a little more sense. And the dump truck did not change dimensions, still 14. We're looking for h. So I'm going to go from the hypotenuse to the shorter leg, which is 7, divided by 2, and then the shorter leg to the longer leg by multiplying it by the square root of 3. So that's that answer there, and that's that answer there. Okay, there's your assignment. Let me know if you guys have any questions. We'll practice in class. This is, like I said, it's a very important skill, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.